So this was a really important scene for me because I really felt that there weren't really any depictions of the kinds of lesbian relationships that I knew in my life. Two women sat on the sofa in their their sort of tracksuit bottoms, eating pot noodle, taking the piss out of each other,
Really, am I distracted?
and just having a laugh on a Saturday night. I just never feel that I'd seen that. And we rehearsed it a lot, actually. We didn't do much rehearsal of specific scenes, but we did rehearse this scene a lot. And that was partly because I felt that it was really pivotal in terms of the relationship between the two characters, the dynamic between the two characters. They've got this sort of, we talked about how this was a kind of routine for them, that, you know, each of them plays a role and they're used to playing that role, and it's kind of part of their routine flirtation, and they both know where it's going. You know, like Viv turning off the TV and kind of exerting her dominance in that way, that was like part of their thing, and that the whole thing was this kind of elaborate extended flirtation.
You do realise
At the beginning of the scene, actually, I forgot to mention, we have a clip from Joanna Hogg's graduation film that you can hear in the film if you're really listening out, which I think is really cool because I'm a massive Joanna Hogg fan, from her 1987 graduation film from the NFTS. This kiss was interesting because we had an intimacy coordinator on all the scenes, all the intimate scenes on the film, which was amazing. Jen, she was brilliant. But both the actors, Rosie and Kerry, decided that they didn't want to kiss until the cameras were rolling, and this was the first scene of its nature. So yeah, the atmosphere on set was quite tense, and nobody really knew. I don't think they even knew how it was going to go. So, but the chemistry between these guys was kind of second to none, even from the first day of rehearsals. It's also the first point in the film where we start to understand as the audience that everything that Jean is sort of carefully managing isn't quite as it seems. This is the first point, I think, where we really understand that she's keeping these parts of her life so separate, and it's not working quite how she wants it to with the arrival of her sister.
Tim's mum's been taken to hospital. I think she might have had a stroke. Could you watch our Sammy? I don't think it'd be too long before.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, of course, yeah, that's fine.
Oh, really? Thank you so much. You're a star.
Yeah, we'll be okay, won't we, Sammy?
Don't go all shy, Innes. Say hello to Auntie Jean.
The character of Sammy was someone that I imagined because I needed a way to sort of show how this conflation between homosexuality and paedophilia is sort of this ever-present
Sammy, this is my friend, Viv.
kind of, it fills the character with dread, and that she feels it even with her very sweet relationship with her nephew. You know, there's this sense from the outside world that she is somehow dangerous or predatory, and that she has to keep her relationship away from Sammy.
He's 5.
This scene was really tense. It was the first kind of dispute that we shot between Viv and Jean, and I remember we shot on 16mm, and we shot this whole scene, and it was slightly out of focus, and then a few days later we had to go back and shoot it again, which really just like took the wind out of everybody, because the magic that you create on set is a one-time thing, so having to go back for the actors is really, really hard, and I admired them a lot for getting back into the headspace of that scene. Dexter, who plays Sammy, was less enthusiastic. He was really like, I've done this before, why do I have to do it again? And I just was like, just didn't get it, which was kind of brilliant. Now, when they go upstairs into the bathroom, this is one of my favourite scenes of the film. I think that shot with the cat walking out just kind of sums up the tone of the film as I imagined it when I first started writing it, and the kind of the gentle silence of it, but the sadness that you can feel, and how it comes out in this really regretful way for the character, and how she instantly regrets how she's behaved, but it's just the first kind of example all of this pressure from society and the outside world getting to her and her taking it out on someone else. And it was obviously filming with children and animals, they say never do it, but this is exactly why I want to do it in every film I ever work on, because that moment where he touches her face was absolutely from him. That was him reacting to the moment as it happened. That was not direction, that was just the innocence of that little boy. And so was the hug. It was all improvised by him. And everybody in that tiny bathroom and outside of it was crying at the sort of genuine nature of it. And there's just something that you can't achieve, you know, without, you can't force that kind of thing. It just comes.